Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Bhagavato you may know how to do this, but I'd like to know. You have your right hand and purify your right hand, purify your left hand. Taking your left hand, Om Keshuvaya Namaha, look into the water. Om Keshuvaya Namaha. Take your left hand. Anytime you need to scratch something, purify your hand, okay? Set. All right, whoever's doing the antimala, can do that now. Projected Brahma Samhita, so you can chant along. Ishvara Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Adi Govinda Sarvabharatma Chintamani Kalasarvasvara Lakshadikeshwarviravimayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shakta Sampramasekhimanam Govindamani Purusham Bhagavatam Samhitam Sudranam Kandharvabodhamaniram Sesasomham Govindamani Purusham Alokachandra Sarvanamayavamshi Ratnam Gadamhanayate Tadabhinasam Shamam Divangalalitam Yataprakaşam Govindamani Purusham Angani Yasasakhalendriya Vritti Harshanti Bhanti Hariyanti Shirandanti Ananda Chinmaya Sarvachala Devasya Govindamani Purusham Advaitam Achyutanayani Mantrupam Adyam Purana Visham Nayoganamsha Vede Sudurvam Adurvam
What time do the curtains close? Real soon. And then when do they open again? At noon. I just want to bounce before the gate. Oh, so the curtain's been open. Okay. Can I make a request? There's a dabbling child, and dabbling children are cute, but they don't go very well with the lecture in the temple room. So whoever has this nice, cute dabbling child, can you take the child outside? Also, the other child was not making the noise in the family. Making some noise. Namo Vishnupadaya, Vishnu Prasaya, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurani Chari Nirvise Saraswati Asya Kade Sakari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The event is the process of Harinam Diksha. No, thank you. Thank you for nothing. So I think this. The process of Diksha is a twofold process. It's a process of submission and a process of acceptance. Submission to Krishna through disciplic succession, and acceptance by Krishna through disciplic succession. It's establishing in a formal way the link with Krishna through disciplic succession. That's Diksha. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Sachinatoshini, has written an essay which somehow Snehavali can figure out a way to see the world in a digital copy of an essay that he wrote in Bengali that's been translated into English called Pancha Samskar. Pancha means five and Samskar means impression. And the process of initiation is one where there are five elements to the Diksha process. The essence of all of them is submission. So I'll mention them, and you can read. It's a several-page little essay. It's in English. At the time of initiation, there's neck beats, there's tilak, there's a name, there's tapa or austerity, and commonly in the ways of Diksha, a deity. And this is specifically the purpose of the Vaidika Diksha is to worship a deity. Second initiation or Brahminical mantras are for deity worship. Specifically, the deity is worshipped through the mantra. So we follow Bhaktivinoda Thakur's essay describes those five items. And for the tapa, the distinction is in Ramanujacharya's line of the Sri Vaishnava tradition, there's a brand. A hot metal that's placed on left and right shoulder, symbols of Vishnu placed there permanently on the body. Body belongs to Vishnu. Here's the symbols of Vishnu. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very lenient. He had as his form of tapa, this interesting point is regret. And not, obsessive sadness, but regret of wasted time and misuse of the human form of life, and misuse of free will. It's a form of tapa, so that one can move forward. That's the purpose of tapa. And that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's system. So the same is found in many traditions, Vaishnava traditions. This little essay describes how Lord Chaitanya applied those five elements in the process of submission and acceptance by Krishna through disciplic succession. In his writings and his speaking in disciplic succession, Bhakti Siddhanta spoke of the essence of Diksha. Go ahead. The essence of Diksha is from the disciple's side is submission. And the Krishna's side is acceptance of that submission. So that's what we're doing, submitting up to Krishna through this expression. And through mantras and procedures, etc. Hoping, expecting the kindness of Krishna that he will accept our submission, then accept us. That's the Diksha process as Bhakti Siddhanta described it. And because during this visit, the topic of choice has been Ramayana and the personalities of Ramayana. I'm going to spend some time just with that topic, the 18 cardinal lessons from Ramayana that come from Jamunacharya. If you haven't received it, ask for it, and it's available as a PDF that has been circulated. And according to the Sri Vaishnava tradition, the essence of Ramayana is lessons in surrender on both sides. One is submitting and one is receiving. Diksha is submission. In the Sri Vaishnava tradition, there's 3 mantras. It's not in this essay by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but it's in this message that you should be receiving if you have this 18 elements of Ramayana. The 3 mantras, Om Namo Narayanaya, is one. We're very familiar with that one. And a second is our favorite verse of Bhagavad Gita, or the essence of Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharma Parityajya, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, etc. And in their tradition, this is called Charama Sloka. Charama Sloka means the highest teaching, the verse that gives the highest teaching. Mamekam Sharanam. A mantra that one receives at the time of teaching. And there's a third mantra that has 2 parts, and it's called Vani mantra. And I'll mention and then describe a bit. All of this is from Govindaraj. Those of you who've been hearing, you know his name by now. Govindaraj is exactly when he lived is not so clear. But 17th century, many say. He was a Sri Vaishnava poet and scholar who resided at Tirupati, and the deity appeared to him in a dream and instructed him to write commentary, so he did. And his commentary, Govindaraj's commentary, is celebrated as the most authentic and comprehensive. Something like Krishnadas Kaviraj's biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life is authentic and comprehensive about the life of Lord Chaitanya. And similarly, Govindaraj is that person for Ramayana. And he's describing these mantras and their implication specific to our initiation event today. The 2 mantras, Shriman Narayana Charanau Sharanam Prapadye Srimate Narayanaya Namaha. So their teaching is this process of surrender, and these 3 mantras representing the process of surrender are the way to attain the association of Bhagavan, and there isn't something else. Specifically, something else, very similar to our teachings. Jnana and karma are not the way by which one can attain Bhagavan. They have their place in Vedic teachings, but the essence of the Vedic teachings is surrender or bhakti. And these mantras directly indicate that process of surrender or submission to Krishna or submission to Lord Ramachandra and Ramayana. So of the two, Sriman Narayana Sharanam Prapadye is similar to something that we've already discussed in relation to Vibhishan. Well, those of you that have been attending these classes, or if not, you can go back, I'm sure they're recorded and available somewhere. With Vibhishan, when Vibhishan arrived after departing Ravana's camp, or leaving Lanka, he traveled across the sea and came to the place where Ram was. And as you know or remember, there were 4 ministers accompanying him. And the Sri Vaishnavacharyas say, they write, that the 4 ministers represent 2 aspects of the process of surrender. And this mantra is one of those aspects of the process of surrender. That's exclusive shelter in the Lord. But the mantras that they receive are emphasizing, underscoring, highlighting surrender to the Lord. Exclusive shelter has this phrase, paratantriyam, paratantriyam. And the paratantriyam has 2 parts, which this mantra also has. There's the positive and there's the negative. The negative, akinchanatam. Akinchana is a word that we hear in Queen Kunti's prayers twice. Queen Kunti says, it's only those who are akinchana that can receive shelter of you with pure bhakti. And those that have some other shelter won't have full access to you. So those who have access to you are those persons who are akinchana. And akinchana can mean materially impoverished, or more explicitly, not just financially or otherwise destitute, but having no shelter other than you. It's saying it on the negative side. And then the positive side is ananya gatitam. You're my only shelter. I have no other shelter, and you're my only shelter. It's my checkmate. And this is this exclusive shelter in the Lord. That's one of the mantras that they receive. So it's part of the diksha process is taking shelter. You are my only shelter, and I have no other shelter. That's the first of those 3 mantras. And the second one, Shrimate Narayanaya Namaha. And this is the principle of dependency. Dependency. We've heard about this dependency several times in the course of the discussion about Ramayana, because it's right in Ramayana. Ramayana, according to Govinda Raj, the Sri Vaishnava commentators and acharyas, say the whole of Ramayana is a treatise on surrender. There's different persons that exemplify one or another or combination of these features of surrender. It's a whole treatise on surrender. So one of the aspects of surrender is feeling dependent. So I have no other shelter, you're my only shelter, and we have life to live, and we live our life. False ego is gone. For one who surrendered, the false ego gone is I'm acting in a mood of dependence. Full range of activity in all the things a life of a surrendered person does in a mood of dependence. So that's the Srimate Narayanaya Namaha. May I always, this is Govinda Raj, in all time, place, and circumstances, render all kinds of service to Lakshmi Narayana. And then the negative, may I not have the feelings of doing things for myself. That's acting through false ego. It's in Bhagavad Gita as well, actually. So the Bhagavad Gita is also teaching surrender. But the acting on behalf of myself is karta aham. And it's really easy. We don't have to even think about it. We do it all the time. You know, you make a decision to do something, and off you go to do that something. I'm going to do that something. And the example given by Govindaraj and other commentators is Lakshmana. Specifically, the scene in Ramayana is Lord Ramachandra, under the guidance and advice of Agastya, is advised to stay for the final year in their duration of time in the Dandak forest in Panchavati. So they reach Panchavati, following Agastya's indication. And Rama's looking around and assessing, and he turns to Lakshman and asks Lakshman, please select a place and build a cottage that's going to be suitable to all three of us, which is something that we might conventionally think is that's respectful. Not just, you know, what you want or what I want or what she wants, but what's suitable for all three of us. And Lakshman's response is a response of dependency. He articulates it very clearly. O descendant of Kakutsta, that's the line of Ichwaku, I am but a dependent. As long as you are here, even if it be for 100 years or eternity, I will be submissive to you. Therefore, you tell me a place that is delightful for you. And then later he says it differently, but same thing. My existence is not like your existence. You're independent, but I am dependent. In this world of variety, nobody wants dependency, and so you have not awarded to anyone. But I always desire complete dependency on you. So I am a dependent entity. And that's built within these mantras that Sri Vaishnavas received at the time of initiation. I'm mentioning Sri Vaishnavas again and again because they have, like we have in the line of Lord Chaitanya, extensively commented upon Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam. And the same elements are there, of course, and expressed in the way that followers of Lord Chaitanya express themselves. But because this visit here to Portland has been on the topic of Ramayana and personalities of Ramayana, and Ramayana is a treatise of surrender, is appropriate for the event, the initiation event. To understand what we're doing, so step back from what we're doing. One more time, it's submission. And there's acceptance of that submission. That the acceptance is done by one of the links, Prabhupada's phrase, the current link in the chain of the cyclic succession. So the spiritual master is performing a function. It's a guru function on behalf of Krishna. Krishna is the one that one is actually submitting to, and Krishna is the one that's actually accepting. But Krishna is very kind, he does things through people. But the submission is unto Krishna, the acceptance is from Krishna to you, and that Krishna is the deliverer. The links in the chain are not the deliverer, it's the person who is on the other end of that chain. Krishna is the deliverer. That's our teaching. We don't disrespect minimize or some way consider the spiritual master to be kind of utilitarian or inconsequential. Our teaching is the spiritual master, because of being a representative of Krishna, is to be respected like Krishna. Not that spiritual master is Krishna, but like Krishna. So respect is according, and submission is according. But the spiritual master should always remember, and the disciple should always remember, the submission is unto Krishna. And Krishna is the one accepting. So when the spiritual master has a function to represent Krishna properly, then the disciple has a function to see the spiritual master properly as representative of Krishna. And in this way, the process of diksha goes on. Now that's the topic that I wanted to discuss. It's now almost noon, a couple minutes before noon. Something that I've been accustomed to doing. It's not something that Prabhupada did, but it's nice. So my godbrothers, we've had shared initiations and they did, so I just started following that system. I'd like to invite, I want to have the vows taken before the deities, so I'm kind of coordinating time with the curtain opening again and taking the vows before the deities. So, Nanda Sutta, you're there? Yeah. Arun, can you go pay obeisances to Prabhupada and then come forward over here? And we'll call upon, we'll call upon Nanda Sutta to say something, some understanding of Guru's nature, his service, and everything. Ready? Can you give him the microphone? You really just need a microphone. Yes, go ahead, begin.
Well, thank you, Krishna, for inviting me to say something. I'm very happy, privileged to be here and speaking this. Both Arun Prabhu and Ram Tulsi Madhavi, very dear to me. And I've seen them from the beginning of their Krishna conscious journey, almost 15 years ago. And it's just super. Arun Prabhu told me that, he used to do all this audio recording that Mataji is doing. So, 2010 Thanksgiving retreat, the class was over, and then he comes to me and says, I'd like to take initiation from Maharaj. So that was 2010 already. And we are 12 years later. So it's a journey, is long, it feels that way. But in my mind, and what I've seen from him, is that from that day he has accepted Maharaj as his guru and followed his instructions thoroughly. So kudos to you, Prabhu. I mean, we travel a lot. He loves to attend all the yatras. I miss sometimes, but he always goes. And I see the excitement when he's there, and then when he comes back, and how much he helps the rooms there, lifting those big bags, putting on basic buses and things like that. So he does a lot of physical work. He's always, he's a big manager, so he's very intelligent. So his understanding of scriptures and all is very, very amazing. One thing I can say, and I'll finish like that, that people cannot BS him, about scriptures or anything. If I have to ask for some opinion and I ask for his opinion, 99.9% chances are that I will follow it, because he's pretty strong in how he does what he does. Even though he's getting initiated now, which I got initiated 20 years ago, I still consider him to be a pretty senior in his Krishna conscious understanding. So I'm very happy that this day is here today. It is accepted formally Guru Maharaj as initiating spiritual master. And best of luck, Prabhu, and I hope and pray that you do wonderful service in the service of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Looks like they're getting ready to open the curtain, and I want to wait till the curtain is open. While we're waiting, I told a godfather friend of mine named Devi Deva Prabhu. He's born in Canada, and for some years he lived in Portland, and I told him I was in Portland. And he said, "Do they still have the Radha Krishna deities there?" And I said, I don't think so. And he went into this long thing. In the 70s, there was a temple president, and he got permission from Prabhupada to order Radha Krishna deities and install Radha Krishna deities in Portland. And Devi Deva was given the assignment to drive all the way to LA, 2 days down, pick up the deities, 2 days back, and then the deity installation of Radha Krishna. I don't know if those deities are, but they're not on the altar. But the history of deity worship in the 1970s. I think it was Roshan worship or something. Okay, so your vows. How many vows you chant every day, please?
361.
Very good. And the rules that you follow.
No eating, intoxication.
Okay. And you'll make your best effort to, as you've been doing for so long, continue following Srila Prabhupada's teaching.
Yes, ma'am.
Initiated name is Adi Purusha. With a gift bag from Nanda Suta's mother-in-law. Sitting back here. She sews for so many things, the outfits. So, Jai Prakash. That.
Sure, Mataji, over the she will complain to me. She is second initiative.
Now, who's going to speak something about Jai Prakash? Yes. What we call to you. Can we get the microphone to Carl? Yes, yeah, so we can hear you better. Yes.
I'll probably speak for both.
Okay,
They're both very sincere souls. They came in contact with Srila Prabhupada's writings, especially the Bhagavad Gita, about 3 years ago. And since then, very immediately, like a duck takes to water, they took to the process of chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and very quickly made progress towards understanding and internalizing the teachings and seeking shelter of the disciplic succession of the Guru Parampara, and have very sincerely been chanting the Mahamantra and following the four regulative principles for almost over a year, and have a very sincere desire to serve the devotees and Srila Prabhupada and Sri Sri Jai Satchidananda. And especially Jai Prakash Prabhu has also inspired his wife, his child, and the whole family is very devotional. Ravi Prabhu and his wife are also extremely devotional. They come up in very pious family, and they are now kind of getting correct or sort of the instructions through the message of Srila Prabhupada, which is where one understands the the teachings correctly instead of following them as rituals and making progress in their devotional life. So it's a very wonderful thing to see them come to this formal step. And I pray to Shishikai Sachinathan Srila Prabhupada and to you that they continue their journey in a mode of service in a humble way and never deviating from the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Your vows. How many rounds you chant every day? And the rules you follow. And you continue as you've been doing, following Prabhupada's teachings for the rest of your life. Your initiated name is Giant Nitai Das. No explanation needed for that. Giant Das. Okay. Your vows, how many rounds you chant every day, please?
16 rounds.
And the rules that we follow.
No gambling,
These nervous.
no intoxication, and no illicit sex.
How about gambling? And you'll continue following Srila Prabhupada's teachings as you've been doing for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And your name is Radhakanta Das. There's a nice history. We go back to that. There's a nice history of the Radhakanta deity. Radhakanta deity was originally received by Rukreshwar Pandit and then passed on to his disciple Gopal Guru, and passed on to his disciple and so on. And the deity is currently worshipped in Jagannath Puri, in the house of Kashimishra, and the same name of the deity, that's at the Radhakund. We're going to visit Radhakund for the virtual Vrindavan Yatra. And you'll hear some details, but you can learn about the Radhakunda deity and those personalities if you like before then. Rukreshwar Pandit is a very special disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his disciple Gopal wrote. There's very nice stories about each of these persons, but I'll forego that until. Please tune in to the it's just like we're doing, this. Many initiations take place these days that are virtual. It's not the same as this. So there was a plan that got stopped to go to Vrindavan last year, then again this year partake. So instead it's going to be a virtual visit. And Vrindavan Yatra virtually. It's in middle of November. I don't recall the dates exactly, but if you're interested, you can join us. And we'll visit that temple, the Gracious Planet's temple with Radha deity there. Very, very merciful deity. So now we're ready for mantras, right? Okay, take it away.
close to them. Very close. And then hold the Bible. Okay. You know, we have to go. Very hard. Om Bhur Swaha Vishnu Namaha. 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 Okay, everyone turn the beats. We'll go word for word. Om Jnana Jnanandasya Shri Chaitanya Krishna Adita Bhutale Swayam Rupa Ramaya Dati Vadantika Chaitanya Deva Krishna Padam Namo Namo Bhakti-Vinodaya Shakti Rupaya Gaurav Nirvaya, Gaurav Nirbhava, Gurveshvam, Nirgishta, Janapriya, Vaishnava, Sarvabhauma, Shri Jagannathaya, Krishna, Bhakti-Rupa, Rupakam, Jagataram, Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Om Bhusvaya Namaha, Om Bhusvaya Namaha, Om Swasvaya Namaha, Om Bhusvaya Namaha. Right, I want to stand and take your the banana over there. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya